What's going on, everybody? GentleBen94 here. Welcome back to Ben Builds. We are here with the Whitley. This is episode number 2 for the Bomber Command Buddy Build. And today, guys, I'm really pushing forward to try and get as much done as I can on the cockpit, painting, and the fuselage. I know I'm a little bit behind. The Bomber Command Buddy Build has been going on for well over a month now. I'm just now starting, and this is due October 31st. So I still have a good deal of time left. I just want to make sure that I'm up to speed. So let's go ahead and dive right on in with the assembly, starting here on step 1. We're going to go ahead and use flush cuts. We're going to use our X-Acto knife. We're going to use any sort of jeweler files. We're going to use our Tamiya extra thin glue, and we're going to follow step by step from 1 all the way to the end. Now, I will say I've been using a lot of my time studying the instruction manual, and just a word of advice for anyone who's new to Airfix. The Airfix instructions are amazing, but they throw a lot of information at you. So for more inexperienced modelers and people like myself who are new to Airfix, read your instructions, guys. Really go over them. Look at all your legends. Look at all of your different parts and pieces that they call out for, because not only do they specify a part number, they also specify a color. And if you're not familiar with Umbro colors, you won't necessarily know what you're looking at. So look at your instructions and read your legends. Otherwise, you're going to have a heck of a time just getting through the first couple of steps. I know I was a little bit concerned, but I eventually kind of figured it out, so we are ready to rock. Now, speaking of color, the basic cockpit is going to be this color, MMP REF Interior Green. Now, I've never used MMP before, so I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I'm really hoping that it's beautiful paint because I've heard great things. So we're going to be using that. Also, for any sort of black accents like radio panels or cockpit details, we're going to paint that with Tamiya flat black. Beautiful XF1, shouldn't be any problem. So let's go ahead and wrap this up and get these parts installed. Now, while the front part of the cockpit is drying here off camera, we've moved on to the back of the fuselage and we need to install this very long walkway. It appears to be some form of maybe like corrugated metal or something like that. So we need to glue that into the very bottom of the fuselage. Then we're going to come on back, and after this is dry, we're going to airbrush the entire interior RAF green. Now I'm really excited to use this paint too, so let's go ahead and drop it into the airbrush and see how it goes. Fingers crossed, guys. Let's try it out. Alright guys, MMP paint is beautiful. I love this shade. I love the color. It really went through the airbrush without any problem whatsoever. I didn't have to thin it. I just dropped it right into the airbrush and shot at about 25 psi. Turned out beautifully. And the paint itself has a really cool kind of soft satiny feel to it. It needs a little bit of weathering though. It's a little bit of a kind of a monotone color, but that's okay. We'll get on that eventually. Now for the black, we're going to use XF1 by Tamiya. We're going to use some airbrush. We're going to use some brush painting. We're really going to go ahead and push through, see what we can get done with some of these detail parts. I'm not the best at brush painting, but we need to do it. So let's dive on in, see what we can do. Now, the clear parts themselves are just going to be a few windows here and there. We're going to use some Tamiya extra thin cement to go ahead and glue those windows down. I'm going to make sure though that I'm not going to put any glue near the actual window. I'm actually going to glue the tabs. I think that's going to be perfect to keep away all that glue from fogging up the little tiny windows. So we'll go ahead and get those glued in as well and move on to the fuselage. Lots of windows on the fuselage, guys. I really want something to hold these windows in because when I come in to do some masking, I want to be pressing on those windows with tape and burnishing them down so that I get that proper outline of the window. Worst thing I could possibly imagine is pushing on that window and having it pop out on the inside of the fuselage. So I'm really going to make sure that these hopefully stay put. So we've also done the top of the fuselage, and I just wanted to go ahead and do a quick dry fit and see how this all goes together. So let's line this up, make sure all the tabs are in perfect alignment. There. You know what? Wow, this, even dry fitting, this really goes together well. There's one little tiny area here on the left rear side of the fuselage. That's going to have to be worked on, but wow, everything really does fit well. So everything I've heard about this kit, from what I've seen so far, very much true. The fit is phenomenal on this. Except right there. That's the only issue I've got. But that's no problem really, because I can just take some jeweler files or X-Acto knife and carve out that actual area right there. Should be fine. So let's go ahead and call it for today, guys. Let all these parts and pieces dry. Let all the paint cure. Next episode, we're going to come on back and we are going to start doing some detail painting and weathering on the cockpit. So thank you so much for watching. Tune in next week for another episode. Until then, guys, keep on building, and we'll see you back here next week on Ben Builds.